coverage. In the 1940s and even the 1950s, even though most in the medical profession knew that smoking was dangerous to your health, you had a lot of ads like this, bought and paid for by cigarette companies looking to sell cigarettes.
What cigarette do you smoke, Doctor? Once again, the brand named most was Camel. Yes, according to this repeated nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette.
Flash forward to the 1970s. According to a new investigative report published in The Nation magazine by friend of the show Mark Ames and his co-writer Yasha Levine, Charles Koch of the famous and wealthy Koch brothers bought and paid for an anti-Social Security and Medicare idea stand that involved Nobel laureate Friedrich Hayek of Austria. According to the reporters, here's how it came down. Charles Koch wanted to use Hayek as an expert to give his think tank, the Institute for Humane Studies, an intellectual drive or intellectual rationale to get rid of Social Security. But Hayek, according to Ames and Levine, was afraid of leaving the safety of the universal health care coverage he was enjoying in his native Austria by coming to America's rigged marketplace system. Hayek feared the cost of America's health care. So Koch, according to Ames and Levine, responded to Hayek saying, "Do not worry about your Social Security safety net. The U.S. has one, and you'll be fine." Mark, Yasha, we welcome you. Before we get too far into this, Mark, why should we care so much about something that happened so long ago?
Because the ideas that were funded and seeded then are now considered respectable ways of framing the debate. You know, you have guys like Rick Perry calling Social Security a Ponzi scheme. You know, everybody on both parties actually is really talking about cutting these programs, Medicare and Social Security. And so, but these ideas, these politics, these rotten politics, they began as rotten ideas funded and fronted back in the 70s. And that's what these letters show, is that how did Charles Koch and Friedrich Hayek think in private about these programs that publicly they've been trying to destroy for decades, and privately they knew they worked.
Yasha, how does one go about the business of buying and seeding an idea, and why was somebody like Hayek so relevant to being able to do that?
Well, Hayek was, his invention probably was to promote the idea that any kind of socialized system or centralized system of government or a program like medical program would inevitably lead to totalitarianism, to Stalinism, to fascism. It would decrease lifespans. It would lead to mind control.
But I get that. I understand the beliefs, but why is that so? Why was, listen, I know a lot of people who think that they're not getting paid off by the Koch brothers and they're not seen as influential to ideas. Why was this particular guy's ideas so influential?
Well, because he had...
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead, Mark.
Well, I was going to say, because Hayek is considered the godfather of free market economics in the 20th century. He's a Nobel Prize winner. In fact, he won the Nobel Prize the year after Charles, and he had this back and forth, and Charles said to him, you know, don't worry, you can come to America, you'll be fine, because actually you had secretly paid into Social Security while you were at the University of Chicago in the 1950s, so you qualify for Social Security and Medicare, so don't worry, everything's okay, you can leave Austria and come here.
So let's hold on, Mark, because we have an excerpt of the letter, and I want to make sure, I don't want to just have this float by as a graphic. It says, since you have paid into the United States Social Security program, this is from who to who? This is Koch to Hayek?
Koch to Hayek.
All right. So Charles Koch wrote to Hayek, don't worry, they implicate saying, don't worry, since you, Hayek, have paid into the U.S. Social Security program for a full 40 quarters, you are entitled to Social Security payments while living anywhere in the free world. Also, at any time you are in the United States, you are automatically entitled to hospital coverage. For further information, I'm enclosing a pamphlet on Social Security, and you're saying that this communication was being had between a Nobel laureate who was being paid by the Koch brothers to debase the very thing that he was being given. Is that Do I understand that right?
That's exactly right. So he's being paid to come out and front, and because the Cato Institute, which is Charles Koch, sort of the Koch brothers' kind of leading, think tank that was founded in 74, 77, depends who you believe. In any event, the Cato Institute is the leading outfit that has been campaigning since the 70s to dismantle and destroy Social Security, and this was founded by Charles Koch. In fact, the guy in charge of Cato Institute's program arguing how we should dismantle Social Security was the head of General Pinochet's Social Security privatization program. That's who the Kochs have running their program
so
now.
I want to inject here on our side. We reached out to the Koch brothers to respond to the revelation of the purchasing of ideas that the very people advocating them were fearful that they would be subjected to them, basically. They're saying they were trying to avoid it. The Koch brothers have not as yet gotten back to us. I should point out we only brought this to their attention a few hours ago, and I think it's appropriate that we give them a little bit more time to consider what their response is, but it's important that the audience understands our relationship with not only this reporting, but with our respect for everybody obviously involved to have an opportunity to comment. But go ahead, Mark.
So I just wanted to say that these letters, it's not like, there was a hacking situation or anything. These letters, Yasha discovered these letters while researching in the Hoover Institute. So these letters are part of the Hayek collection of letters. And so they were available to the public. It's just that nobody had ever seen them or perhaps looked for them before. And Yasha discovered these letters. And I mean, Yasha can tell, Yasha's reacted. I mean, I remember him calling me.
Tell us this story.
Well,
tell us this.
Well, yeah, so I was at the Hoover Institution archives, which are at Stanford, on the Stanford campus in California. And when I came across this letter, from what I understand, this letter from Charles Koch to Hayek, which champions Social Security and hard sells Hayek on Social Security, is the only letter that I know of, or that the index lists, that is from Charles Koch personally to Hayek. So, I mean, think about this. The only letter that Charles Koch ever wrote to Hayek was to tell him to get on the Social Security and Medicare bandwagon, and reminding him that, hey, you signed up for Social Security, you opted in, so don't worry about it.
And the hypocrisy is that this man is being paid to advocate the disassembly of what he's worried about losing. How prevalent, Mark, is the culture of purchasing and seeding ideas in this sense, and how much has money in our political system, not in the campaign sense, but in the ideological sense, infected the entire debate framing?
Well, first of all, I would say this is worse than hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is a kind of moral thing. This is actually a scam played out on the American people. But, it's interesting, when you launched this campaign, getting money out of politics, you did a sort of historical piece about...
Hold on, Mark, hold on. Yeah. It's caveman. Get money out. We don't want to get money out of politics. We don't want to get the money out. We're talking to the 3-year-old lizard brain. Get the money out. I can't even do it. Go ahead. I'm teasing.
Get the money out, baby.
So go ahead.
Money.
Yeah.
So when you started this, you went back in history and sort of pinpointed where the money corruption really exploded, which had to do with the Supreme Court decision in 1976 that suddenly made money as free speech and allowed all this money. And well, it's interesting because right at the same time we have in the 70s this explosion of think tanks, which now dominate the ideas industry, right? I mean, ideas used to come out of universities, and they used to go through a far more rigorous process. And actually, one of the Supreme Court justices who ruled on that decision, Lewis Powell, he wrote in the early 70s the famous Powell Memo, in which he told corporations, he advised corporations, you need to stop funding universities that don't promote your corporate interests, and you need to start funding only people, thinkers, and institutions that promote your interests. And so then suddenly you have the rise of these parallel, what are think tanks? They didn't really exist or barely existed before the mid-70s. They're sort of set up as a parallel structure to compete against the ideas coming out of universities, which they can't control as easily.
Yeah, no, it's... You have to understand it and acknowledge it, as disgusting as so much of this is, if we're going to begin the process of resolving it. I thank both of you. Congratulations, Yasha, on a keen eye, my man, a keen eye, to say the least. If you're looking to learn...
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Yasha. If you're looking to learn more about this particular piece of journalism, you can find it at The Nation. And we here at NBC await further comments from the Koch brothers from the discussion of the letters presented in The Nation and we just discussed here. We take a break.